Hello, everybody. It's me, Ross, and welcome back to another edition of Meet the Opposition. Today, I'm joined by James Roberts from the Oxford Mail, head of Town's clash with Oxford United at Portman Road in League One. James, thanks very much for joining me. Oxford United, sixth in the league, doing what they do best, grinding out League One, getting good results, getting some bad results, of course. How would you assess your season so far? And welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Firstly, thanks for having me. So far, Oxford haven't been doing what they normally do at the start of the season. It's been much better, I think, overall than the last few seasons under Carl Robinson. I think at this point, after 15 games last year, I think Oxford were in the relegation zone, actually. So sixth in the table at the start of November is a very good return. It was a very good August, a September that was sort of characterised by not scoring goals, missing chances, some very sort of underwhelming performances. Defeat to Cheltenham Town being one of them. I know Ipswich have got previous with that one as well. But the last month or so has been a lot of positives, really. A lot of players have come into form, sort of back and front of the pitch. Matty Taylor being one of them, 6 goals in his last 8 games. And yeah, it's a 3-game winning run, I think, in the league that's taken Oxford 6th. So yeah, as it stands, the position is looking very healthy and well placed for a third playoff push in a row.
Definitely. And we've both got something in common. We're both having a replay in the first round of the FA Cup. You've got to travel to Bristol Rovers. We've got Oldham on Tuesday. It's not ideally what probably Paul Cook and Carl Robertson wanted. Let's talk about Oxford team then. I'm going to drop down the possible 11. One name that stands out, a man you mentioned already, Matty Taylor. He loves the scoring nets. He's got, of course, go back to his former club, Bristol Rovers, in midweek. But I'll let you take the floor, talk about different players, the key players. And I know there's one big player that's going to be missing this weekend, of course, got injured in that Bristol Rovers FA Cup game.
Yeah, I'll start with that. So Alex Gorin sometimes comes up as Alex Rodriguez, I think, on BBC and PA and places like that. But so unfortunately, he did his ACL against Bristol Rovers about 15 minutes into the game. That obviously means he'll miss a large chunk of the rest of the season, if not the whole season. He's a big miss in the sense that, you look at that team there and you think, well, there's so much attacking quality, but there's no one sort of quite like him in the squad. A bit of a, he's sort of a premium sort of player of breaking up play and, reading the game in a defensive sense. You've got plenty that can read the game in an attacking sense and find those passes. He's that real sort of shield in front of the back four. I actually think as well, Ipswich away would have been the perfect sort of game where he would have started. He would have probably been in there alongside Cameron Brannigan and Herbie Kane, and that was a midfield 3 that worked really well at Sheffield Wednesday when Oxford went and won there. So he'll be a big miss, but you sort of look at the players in there, and it's the attacking sort of quality really that stands out. I did mention Cameron Brannigan. He, I believe, is sort of better than he's ever been at Oxford this season. Sort of came back from an eye problem this time last year and was never quite at top form, I think, last season. But sort of with a full pre-season, he's been, absolutely outstanding, I'd say, in a number 8 role, chipping in with goals, driving the team forward, box-to-box midfielder, everything sort of you'd expect from a sort of classic number 8. Matty Taylor, obviously mentioned. He's probably one of those that I would say is most applies to what I said earlier about hitting form in the last month or so. We, I think, got 1 goal in sort of, I think it would have been 8 or 9 games going into sort of the end of September. And he's now got 6 in his last 8, not just scoring. His hold-up sort of all-round play has been immense. He's got at least 3 assists in that time. I may even be missing one. And obviously, the distinction of being the only player to score in an Oxford Ipswich league game in the 21st century, I believe. So he's obviously a name that the Ipswich fans will know. Alongside Brannigan and Taylor, there's obviously a few I could mention. Kane being one, he may well sit in that sort of deeper midfield role for Ipswich and sort of going forward, much more of a ball-playing footballer than Gorin, but has also got that sort of steely edge. So I think he's probably most suited sitting there. And one other name actually that may have sort of cropped up for Ipswich fans before, just because he was linked with the club briefly in the summer was Mark Sykes. I think at the start of the summer was kind of there was a sort of a rumour going around that Ipswich were interested. He's having his best season at United, 4th season, I think, at the club. 4 goals. I don't think he'd ever scored more than 2, maybe in a league season. And he's just a really, he's a good footballer to watch. Great touch, great movement. It's just been about sort of stamping his mark on games, and he's been able to do that this season.
And we're going to segue into what you mentioned, that there's only been 1 goal in the last 4 meetings. There have been thrillers, 3 goalless draws, and of course that 1-0 Oxford win just before COVID hit, of course, in February 2020. Let's talk about Oxford's sort of style of play. What can we expect from this sort of game? What game are you expecting? Are you expecting a end-to-end? We've been scoring a lot of goals, but then conceding. Oxford doing similar, really. They're scoring a lot of goals. I saw you beat Accrington 5-1 one game, but then lose 3-1 against Plymouth. So what do you reckon then? Are we going to see another goalless draw? Please not.
I really hope not. Although I really hope so, because as we'll go on to, I'm missing the game this weekend, so I kind of don't want to miss a thriller. But yeah, it's I mean, Oxford are a sort of possession base. Almost every single game they play, they kind of have the sort of majority of possession. But it'll be an interesting one though, because like you say, both teams score goals, and both teams haven't been too good at keeping them out. And I'm really sort of intrigued to see just how sort of bold Oxford are, because regardless of where sort of Ipswich have been and being lower in the table, it is it's an imposing place to go, especially with Ipswich in relatively good form at the moment. I'd like to think they'll be on the front foot, because I think that's the way they play. And I think that's the way they play best. And they've been to places, like I said, Sheffield Wednesday, winning there, one at Burton Albion a couple of weeks ago, and were brilliant. Just really kind of took control of the game from the off. It will be sort of high energy. I think Carl Robinson will want his midfield 3 sort of working sort of, really hard up and down the pitch. That was the key at Sheffield Wednesday. But yeah, I don't see it being, the game this time last season, or sorry, this fixture last season was probably among the sort of worst of the season in terms of entertainment. Maybe this is a kiss of death, but I don't see it being like that this time around with the way both teams are.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And that is the next question, the big question, prediction time. And James, what do you reckon then? Oxford United, we're talking off there about, you're going to have hopefully a really good, busy away end. So the atmosphere is going to be fantastic. We may expect maybe 20,000 at Portman Road. So it's going to be good atmosphere. Big game against a team, that town currently in 9th. If we win, we'll be getting 1 point away from Oxford in 6th. So it's an opportunity for us to climb back up the table. But it's going to be a big game. What do you reckon?
It's a really tough one to say, and I'm not buying myself time here because I know what prediction I'm going to say, but it's just 2 teams scoring goals, and I think the key thing will be, it sounds like an obvious thing to say, but which team's defence will be sort of more on it, because the thing that's been costing Oxford is the defence has generally been good, but it's been sloppy mistakes. I am going to stick my neck on the line here, and I'm going to say 2-1 Oxford, which I know is going to be controversial, but there's been some really good away performances in recent weeks, and the Gorin absence is big, and that's why I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet. But I think they're in good form at the moment, and feel free to sort of come on and laugh at me at 5 p.m. on Saturday if I get that completely wrong. But I'm going to say 2-1 Oxford.
Okay, then we'll wait and see on that. Is Oxford away form? As you said, you mentioned some good wins there, Wednesday and Burton. Is that what they're proud of, their away form, and they travel well, and just getting them big results at the big clubs?
Well, ironically, it hadn't been until the win at Sheffield Wednesday. They hadn't won away this season, but those 2 performances, and those are the last 2 away games. 2-1 and 3-1 at 2 sort of difficult places to go for different reasons. They were really sort of impressive, just the manner of victory. So that's why I'm sticking my neck on the line. I think if we were talking a month ago, I think it'd be the other way around. I think that prediction, but I'm the Gorin absence I think will be an issue, but I'm still going to stick with 2-1.
Fair play. Well, we'll wait and see. James, thank you very much for joining me. Unfortunately, you're not going to be at the game, so you could be possibly missing a thriller or an Oxford win or another goalless draw. We'll have to wait and see, but thanks for joining me again, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Well, hope everyone's enjoyed watching. Let us know in the comments down below your thoughts, your predictions, and bring on Oxford United at Portman Road this Saturday. See you then. Bye-bye for now.